between a man I want and a man that's good to me. Intuition is missing, ignoring true feelings that I shouldn't feel. I keep holding myself back from all of the good ones that's keeping it real. The one that I want doesn't keep every promise. The one that I need always keeps it when I need. But my heart only wants what it wants, even if it's unhealthy.
What's up, guys? This is Assata Jones, and this is Theorematic. We're live in New Orleans.
I do what I want, I can't help it. That's just how it goes.
Later on, I ended up I went to this elementary school, Edgar Allan Poe Classical School, where there was a phenomenal conductor, Barry Elmore, in 5th and 6th grade. I don't know, that school is really known for their choir. So usually I was the one getting solos and along with maybe 2 other girls. But he just kind of started telling my family you should really get her into music, give her vocal lessons. And then I ended up getting into musical theater. My grandparents, they were really responsible for raising me. My mom was a teenage mom at the time. Well, not at that time, but she was a young mom. She was working for the airport and stuff like that. So they had a lot more time with me because she was always traveling and always gone. So with her being gone, I was also traveling with her. I was able to see Cuba at such a young age, and just the world really, Paris. My grandparents, they're civil rights leaders in Chicago. So pretty much they would just take me everywhere, and they got me into ballet. My mom was also a ballerina when she was at Lincoln Park High School. So they were just trying to figure out what was my niche, And so finally, when they saw I was not rocking with the tutu, I wasn't really rocking with art or anything like that. Fencing, we did that too. Ukulele lessons, they did everything with me. Finally, they put me in musical theater, and I mean, it was just synchronicity at its best. My first show was Oliver Twist, and I still remember the day. I was man, they're not calling my name. They're calling everyone's name. I'm 9 years old at this time. They're calling everyone's name, and then finally they're my first name's Alexis, my middle name is Assata. So finally they're Oliver Twist, Alexis Jones. And I just remember falling out, dramatic as hell. You know what I'm saying? 9 years old, just so lit, just wow. So that was for me wow, that was just the beginning to everything, to where I really felt this was something that made me, so liberated, and at such a young age, I just knew, I just knew that singing was for me.
That's that shit I don't like. Thirsty niggas. That's that shit I don't like.
Well, really, I wrote this cover to Chief Keef's I Don't Like remix, and I called it the She Mix. I really was just having fun with my friends. I really wasn't trying to be a rapper or anything like that. It was just it was cool. Before we did the visual, everyone was feeling that record, and it ended up creating a lot of exposure for me, good and bad. Yeah, I was rapping and singing on it too. I was doing background vocals and stuff like that. But that was my first record that I had written and put it out, But the response that I got from it, I was at that time 19, and it was really hard to receive that type of slack, that response at that age, just because I was just having fun with my friends. But I feel that was preparation to build a strong backbone for me. And it ended up being motivation for me to, keep going, and it ended up on World Star and everything like that. But to fast forward, I ended up linking back up with the people to make the record, Jabari Rayford and William Stokes. We ended up, who's now Sir the Baptist, yeah, and then Jabari Rayford, also known as Jack Red. we ended up like linking up, found out Jabari Raper was like my cousin through marriage, and just a lot of like, you know, weird connections. So pretty much like we ended up like writing, I'd say about like 5-6 records. Partially my ideas, yeah. They also did like, you know, create, you know, their own ideas with me as well. But being in the studio with people who have done it for like a long time, like you're gonna automatically think like, oh, and being young too, like maybe my ideas aren't really that good, and you know, so it liberated me, but in a way just kind of like was, I don't know, it wasn't like a power struggle in the studio or anything like that. It's just that their ideas at that time were better because they invested more time into like writing the music. So I mean, we co-wrote everything, and then finally like I was just like, man, like I really want to put visuals behind it. So I was like, it would be really cool if I got the same guy that did the I Don't Like video for Chief Keef, if I got his platform to make my own videos. So I ended up like writing all of the treatments for these videos. And I mean, I would literally be in the mirror like practicing, like, like practicing what I would look like. I just became really like obsessive with Assata Jones and what I wanted to look like. So I ended up like, you know, doing the video with D Gaines, and I mean, it went crazy. It went really crazy. It got like over almost 300,000 views, and his platform at that time was like, you know, really popping just because, I mean, he shot Chief Keef's videos, and Chief Keef was getting a lot of, you know, clout at that time. So for him to go from, you know, Chicago drill, and then to have like this R&B chick come along, you know, that was just kind of like that audience. They weren't really expecting that, and for it to come with the treatment too, it was just kind of like, whoa. And then we did it in like somewhere familiar, like the Rink on 87th Street, and people were just like, whoa, like, you know, I go there, like, you know. So it was really cool to experience that.
Storms in my brain, cloudy with a chance of rain. Some things you can't change.
That was right before. That was when I found out I was moving to New Orleans. My girl at the time, well, still my girl, my best friend, Simone, she hit me up and she was like, bruh, you're about to move to New Orleans. Like,
what year was this?
This is 2016, the summer of 2016. So my girl, she was just like, man, like, I actually was like chilling. It's just kind of crazy, like when the universe just kind of like provides you with these epiphanies, and you just kind of like just trust the process and you just go with it. You follow your instincts, kind of thing. I was on Snapchat and I was just like listening to music, like my MacBook was just on shuffle or whatever, and it started like playing unreleased music that I hadn't dropped, and I just like posted it on Snapchat, and I just got so many people like, that sounds so good, like why don't you release that? And I was just like, man, like you're low-key right, but I was just in fear at that time. Like I'm like a perfectionist, you know, and at that time I was like, no, like I want the perfect time. Like sometimes us as artists, like we're always looking for the perfect time, the perfect sound, and then you look up and people can't really even see like the evolution of you because you're constantly waiting for that like perfect time, you know. So she was just like, you know what, why don't we just spend the summer just focusing on like packaging up this music and putting it out before you go to New Orleans, like you owe it to yourself, you know. So I was just like, all right, babe, like, you know, I'm with it. So we literally spent the whole summer like finessing, like going up to every single event. And I mean, you know, she's an attractive woman, I'm an attractive woman, so automatically like we just about business. So ultimately like talking to like people in you know, higher positions in music in Chicago and stuff, we're just trying to invite everyone to this one event in Chicago at the Promontory. So we got the date, August 2nd, whatever. Ended up going to the listening party, and I honestly didn't expect for like, you know, over like 75 people to show up. I thought it was just gonna be like, you know, 75 people, just something simple. Showed up, man. It was like 300 people in there. I was like, dang, this is crazy. So it ended up being like a really great turnout. And it felt really good to finally like package that music and just like put it out. Like it was just like, yes, it's done. Like I did it, you know. And that's why I named the project Never Too Late, because there's really no time frame on like anything. Like it's literally never too late.
I've been dancing all night. drinking all night, standing there hoping you
once I started like venturing off and into my own creativity, such as like, you know, taking a leap of faith and like moving to like New Orleans and stuff, I surrounded myself with, you know, people that didn't know me, you know, so they didn't really have anything to kind of like go off of, like a reputation, or that's not the girl that did the She Mix, or oh, that's the girl that did the D Games videos. Like, it was just like really just, no, you're just talented, you know. So it felt good to just kind of have that like clean reputation, that clean slate, that fresh start, you know. And with moving, like, you know, with the writers and stuff, I realized like you can't really, you know, depend on people for your sound or anything. It's like God really like pushed me away from those situations, so that way he could allow me to like tap in to what my own sound is. He gave me these melodies, you know, he gave me my own writing ability, my own experiences to be able to, you know, divert that energy and turn it into music, you know. So it was just really interesting to like be taken away from that situation and looking at it like, oh, this is a loss, you know, whereas like it strengthened me. And now like you put me in the studio for like 16 hours, 6 hours, like I'm coming out with records. Like I remember like having my first studio session in New Orleans with this engineer, Fluop. I remember just like feeling so like just crazy. Like I really felt like I like did drugs or something, just because after hearing it, I was just like, this is not me. Like I made this, like, oh my God. And yeah, it was just honestly crazy.
In a perfect world, what I want is what I needed. Like being
well, lately the new songs that I had written that are going to be released on the next project, they were more so from a heartbreak, you know. And now when I hear those songs, it's like a reminder for me to like, you know, keep pushing forward. Like with where I am right now, it's more of like, damn, I never want to feel that way again. Like, man, I never want to allow someone to make me feel that way, you know. And I think for that to happen, like that's just evolution within my sound, because, you know, I feel like everything that we speak, all of those things come into existence. So I don't really want to be that artist that's like constantly talking about like the heartbreak and how life is like, you know, not going the way that I want it to, you know. I feel like, you know, I'm a strong believer in all affirmations and so forth. So now it's been really interesting, like with my songwriting process and really being more conscious of the things that I'm writing about. So to answer your question, like, nah, like I'm not trying to be like that, you know, sad, broken-hearted girl about how I wish, you know, things were different. Yeah. More empowering records, you know, that's what I want. More, I got Freedom Is No Fear. I hope I'm not ashy. Yeah, I got Freedom Is No Fear for my birthday. And that for me, I remember watching the What Happened to Miss Simone, a documentary about Nina Simone on Netflix. And she was just saying like freedom for me really is like no fear, you know. And that just stuck with me so much, because now like it's like I feel like a superhero. Like when I'm on stage or something, I like think about like these tattoos like lighting up, you know, like I don't know, it just gives me fuel, and then I just go off, you know, into my own little like, you know, Assata world. But I mean, the records that we're doing, like it's really sexy. Like I'm on like a more grown and sexy vibe, like, but it's still like that modern classic kind of feel to where it's like really soulful and like worldly. I just want to give them that world, you know. But like the stuff that I was like writing in the beginning of living in New Orleans, it was more about like the struggle and finding who I am and the heartbreak and like fuck boys that I was like dealing with at the time. But I mean, it was just because I was just getting that love outside of myself, you know. So, but I feel like the good thing with that is that, you know, a lot of people are going to be able to relate to that. And now I'm in a position to where I can talk about like the aftermath of that and where things are right now. And I'm hoping that'll be, you know, either inspiring or relatable, you know, to my audience.
Decisions, don't know what I'm waiting on. Seems like I'm caught up in the mix between a man I want and a man that's good to me. Intuition is missing, ignoring true feelings that I shouldn't feel. I keep holding myself back from all of the good ones that's keeping it real.